Okay, we are live. We are live. Come on, let's do the jazz hands. I am your host, Hank Strange, and the topic of tonight's show, Rod, is Uncle Sam travel ban.
Oh boy,
yeah, Erdoğan. You know Erdoğan. Do you know who that is? I'm trying to rap.
Is that a rapper?
No. That's my. I was trying to rap the title of tonight's episode. It's Uncle Sam travel ban. Erdoğan. So Erdoğan is the new I guess he's like the president of Turkey. You know, his name is Tayyip. I guarantee you I'm pronouncing it wrong. Tayyip Erdoğan. So
is he a Second Amendment guy?
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to dig into this. But it was in the news, so I figured we could talk about it a little bit, see what the folks out there think about what's going on in Turkey. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. The folks think about
Turkey is white meat and breast meat.
Which one do you prefer?
I prefer white meat when it comes to turkey and chicken.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're not a breast meat guy, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, breast meat is white meat, so
okay.
You know, I'm not a leg and thigh guy when it comes to turkey or chicken.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Okay.
I love the white meat.
Makes sense. Okay. All right.
Ty even loves the white meat too.
No, nothing wrong with it. There's no double entendres or anything like that involved in that. So what's up to everyone that's there in the chat? I see we've got lots of folks in the chat. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs ups. Give us those thumbs ups. This is like my second day back from vacation. Rod, I'm still moving stuff around, so I'm in a completely different position from the one I was in yesterday because I don't have all my furniture set up here in this particular room, where from now until I get some other stuff done, this is going to be where we're broadcasting from. We actually got some furniture from IKEA, which we went to the IKEA in your neck of the woods. Yeah,
man. I'm sorry I couldn't meet you, man. But
that's cool.
Yeah, you know,
I understand.
And some family came over, and you know, we kind of hung out. But man, I was hoping that you get some tactical walls back there, man.
Yeah, we do have tactical walls. I just have to get them up. But okay. There's so much stuff that I'm catching up with here. You know, I'm editing videos and doing all this kind of stuff. So it's going to take me some time to catch up to everything and get everything sorted out here. We actually got the wrong stuff from IKEA. So Lola is on her way back to Jacksonville right now, or she's probably in Jacksonville. It's pouring rain here. So
yeah, it's pouring rain here too.
Yeah.
Be safe, Lola.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if she's listening to us on the drive up there, but her and the Strange Boys decided to go out for that road trip. So we are going to talk about, I guess, you know, the reason why in the title I said Uncle Sam. Why not? Let's talk about the government a little bit today and some of the good things and the bad things that the government does. Travel ban. I don't know if you know this, Rod Mills, but the Supreme Court upheld Trump's travel ban.
They upheld it?
Yeah, they upheld it. Are you for or against it? I don't know.
I mean, man, really, I'm kind of torn because of the fact that, you know, I understand that theoretically we cannot just let everybody into our borders, you know, but I do, and I'm actually for letting those people from different countries come in, whether they come from terrorist countries or not, as long as we've done an extensive background check. I mean, not just, you know, find out where they've been living for the last 2 years. I want to know everything, you know, from them from day one. And you know what? I'm not going to segregate them from the non-terrorist countries. I want everybody that's coming over to the United States. Hey, you know what? We want to give you an extensive background check. We want to know who your mother's friends are, your dad's friends, or your aunt's friends, and you know, we want to look at your social media. We want to be able to, you know, do as much of an in-depth background check as we can. And if we can't do it, then we will put you on like a delayed status in getting into the country. But you know, they can't let everybody in. We know that, but But keep in mind, we're all immigrants of this country, whether we like it or not. You know, The only people, and I haven't seen any type of Native Americans in this chat. You know, if there are some, hey, make yourself known. But but you know, I'm going to say that if we are going to let people in, have a very strict background check. But once they pass it and they deem that they are able to be productive citizens here, hey, bring them on through.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, we can definitely pull up what the travel ban particularly talks about. But from my understanding of it, without going back over it, I think you're pretty close to what Trump's saying. You know, I think there are specific countries that he says, you know what, we need to do some extra screening with people who want to come in from these places, slow that down a little bit till we check them out. You know, there's a bunch of things involved here. In other countries, right? I'm not saying you can't do this in America. You can't fake documents. But what I'm going to say, it's really easy to fake documents and things like that in other countries. And then, of course, right now, because of what's going on in these countries, people are leaving those countries and spreading out all over the world. And in a lot of cases, bringing violence with them. So they just want to make sure that they're taking their time and going through those things properly. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm an immigrant, more directly. I guess you're saying like you're an immigrant because of slavery.
Too. I mean, hell, okay. I don't know no black people that was in America prior to slavery. You know,
there might have been a few, but you know, that's, I don't, you know, I think, here's the thing, as an immigrant, that I think there's lots of other countries around the world where people from those countries want to come to America. And for the most part, when those people come here, they don't have ulterior motives while they're coming here. They're not trying to tear down America, bring America down. They want to come here for an opportunity, make themselves better, maybe bring something positive to America. So this is the kind of thing that we have to balance out. And I think, as the Supreme Court says, that the president is within his rights to do that.
I mean, he's definitely within his rights. Now, you have to think about the morality of it at this point. And then again, now keep in mind, Trump doesn't have a good track record of doing things the quote unquote, you know, the way that most people will want you to do it or say it. He's kind of brash with it. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I'm kind of mixed on that because I don't want to have to go outside and everywhere I go, I have to fear like they are in London where, you know, they have so many terrorists over there. Like, it's like, you know,
but so I mean, what I'm saying to you is like, what do you think is morally wrong about saying, hey, let's take a closer look, let's slow down, you know, think coming in from certain countries until we verify who they are and what their intentions are? Do you do you think that there's something morally? So, for example, here, let me ask you this question to something that I think everyone can relate to. Let's put it this way, right? And I'm not trying to change what you think about it or anything. Right. I just want to know if there's a knock. Do you live in an apartment or a house?
House.
Okay, so you live in a house. If there's a knock on the door right now, what do you do?
Honestly,
I'm just curious.
Honestly, it depends on how light or hard the knock is. If it's just a little dee, okay, you know, it may be a female coming over. I don't want to scare her, you know. But if it's somebody acting like they're the police breaking in my house, oh, I'm getting the Glock.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is intention, right? Intention is a huge part of how you screen what's about to go down.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, I'm all for, you know, protecting Americans, protecting, you know, those people that are law abiding. But then again, we got our own homegrown terrorists. So for those people that think that America is terrorist free, that's a damn lie. You live in a damn fantasy land. We got homegrown terrorists already here.
Yeah, we have domestic terrorists. We've got gangs and all kinds of different people that are attacking us. We've got other people out there who don't like this group or that group, and they choose to attack people for all those different reasons. But what I'm saying to you is, you know, intention means a lot when someone wants to come into your home. So let's say do you have like a peephole or do you have a security camera? How do you? And by the way, 13C Joe's joining us, so we'll give him a chance to get set up. So how do you do you just open the door?
No.
Do you have a little chain on there? What do you do?
No. You really want to know what I say? It depends on what time of day that they come in and how hard that knock. Because if they come in at the wrong time, I'm like, hey, who the F are you? What the F you want? You know, you know.
Okay, so I mean, how I don't know how that would be drastically different from.
I did that one time, man, and it was this little. It was this little lady, young lady outside. She was like selling like AT&T cable packages. And I opened the door, you know, and she was like, she was a deer in the headlight, like, I'm sorry, sir, you know. And I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry, you know. I kind of felt all bad, you know. I'm like, damn, you know. So now and then, you know, I don't know. One dude came and I guess because I hadn't cut my yard, he was saying, hey, you need your yard cut? No, I don't need my yard cut. You know, so, you know, but yeah, man, I need to be a little nicer. But I got like a sign in my front window and it reads this. It says, nothing inside this home is worth your life. And it has like a gun, you know, and
here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to know. How is that drastically different from us saying, hold it a minute, let's slow down what's happening on the borders and who's coming in. Let's make sure we're screening everyone and we figure out what people want when, you know, when they're standing at our front door, back door, I don't know, however you want to look at it. I don't think we should never expect, I have this conversation all the time with people, we should never expect the people in the government or our political leaders that we elect to do less than what we would do. So if someone's coming into your home, you would want to screen, you would think about like, who the hell are you? You know, what do you want? Why are you knocking on my door? What are you up to? Why do you want to come into my house? Are you friendly? Not friendly? You know, I think you're going to look at everyone. If you look through that door and you see, you know, you see me standing there in a suit or something like that, or with some kind of ID on or whatever.
What the hell you want in that suit?
Well, still, you're going to look at it differently than if you see me all thugged out with my pants down on the ground.
Now, right? I would look differently if it was a nice, fine lady, you know, with a nice, tight outfit.
And that's the honeypot. That's how you die.
Hey, you know, there's a lot of men in America that die that way. Then, you know,
when Rod Mills goes down, you guys
you'll know why. Yeah, and then you'll be like, okay, you know what? I can see why he did it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess some things are fine to die that way. All right, so let's take a little break here for a second. We do have Richard Hughes joining us as well as 13C. Hey, so what's up, guys? All right, so let's take a little break. Okay, hold on. I don't know if you know what. Let's go with Richard. Can you hear me, Richard?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Do you hear me good?
Yes. How's everything going?
Good. I was in DC doing some political activism this week and almost got arrested in front of the White House. Have a confrontation with some Trump haters.
Oh yeah. Okay. But I'm glad you did not get arrested. You know, glad that you could make it here and join us.
Yeah. So I was in DC. I met, oh boy, what's the guy's name? You remember the story about a group of black men going to the Woolworth and sitting down at the counter and saying, I want to be served?
Yeah, way back in the days.
Yeah, I met one of those guys, Clarence Henderson, super nice guy, you know, conservative man going out, you know, talk about conservatism. And we had a 2-hour break from all the, you know, I'll tell you what was very cool. And this is kind of dovetailing in what Mac was talking about last night about the period of commentary on legislation and regulation, is they take that very seriously. So if you write something about bump stocks, the people, and Trump has all the right people in all of these organizations, whether it's the ATF, the EPA, etc. They're very seriously weighing your commentary. And so definitely write in about the bump stock. Whenever any kind of ATF regulation comes up and there's a comment period, write in. Make sure you write in. I was dying to get that message out yesterday.
Tomorrow's the last day, right? Sorry, but I'm pretty sure tomorrow's the last day, right?
Yeah, I think so. So everybody, I'll try to look it up and I'll pass it off.
Yeah, or someone send me put a link in our chat here and I'll post it in the description or something like that. Let's before we get too deep into anything, Richard, let's also welcome Joe from 13C Gun Reviews. Joe, what's up, man?
Thank you, Hank. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you bearing with me here, getting set up tonight. I actually got a new computer and I just got home and I guess the webcam does everything look right? Does it sound right?
Yeah, you look good, man. You
look sharp.
Crisp. Yeah, damn.
Crisp. like you just came out of the dry cleaners.
I literally I tore off what I was wearing for work, and I pulled on the first shirt out of the closet, and here I am.
No, awesome. I'm talking about the camera looks sharp, not you.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, you look sharp too. But the camera is like, damn, I can see your nostril hair or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joe looks good. You're gonna get some tonight, Joe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, not from us.
It's too long to drive. You wouldn't be here till after midnight anyway.
Yeah.
Joe, you look so good. I can see your blood type, man.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna get crazy. So before we get into any subjects here, we've got Joe from 13C Gun Reviews. We've got Richard Hughes from Flying Rich, right, Richard?
Right, flyingrich.com.
Okay, and we've also got Rod Mills, and he's from Scorched Earth. Was it firearms training or training?
That's it. I got a class this weekend.
Okay, very cool. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things. I'm sure these guys have things to talk about. You guys have stuff to talk about. Before Richard and Joe came in, I was saying, guys, that the topic of today's show is like Uncle Sam, travel ban, Erdoğan. So there you go. I don't know if you guys catch the references, but
I still ain't caught the reference on that, Hank.
Yeah, sounds like a rap chant to me. I don't know. I just wanted to change it up today and turn some things around. So what Rod and I were talking about when you guys came in is this whole situation with the travel ban being upheld by the Supreme Court. Do you guys want to jump into that before we go off into other subjects? Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, if you read the U.S. Constitution, and all of you should have a pocket Constitution in your hand somewhere, which I don't know where mine is. The Constitution gives the right for the regulation of immigration to the Congress. The Congress wrote a statute, gave it to the president. So it's been upheld in the past that the president has plenary power over immigration.
There we go.
So this is a non-issue. There's all of these judges that ruled against Trump were activists. Trump, Joe's got it there.
Yeah, Joe.
So keep talking. I'm just going to.
Joe's the man. Joe's the man.
Not the pocket Constitution though. So.
Oh, there we go. There goes another one. We're going to put that up again, Joe. Hold on.
Well-rounded.
Shinzu. Okay, there you go.
Gotta be well-rounded.
You have to throw up the art of war as well. Constitution and the art of war, baby. That's all you need.
I feel bad I don't have a Bible sitting here. Otherwise, I'd have the 3 most important books you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that, Rich. Go ahead, man.
So all of these judges, and I'm always kind of shocked at how dumb judges are. And really, it's got to be that they're just activist judges, because there is no way that what Trump proposed was illegal. It was absolutely complying with the law 100%. And there's prior precedent of court cases to validate that. Also, 85% of the world's Muslim population wasn't banned from coming into the countries. The quote-unquote Muslim ban, Trump ban, however you want to call it, immigration ban, was from failed countries where we couldn't reach out to them to validate the status of the individuals coming into the country. That these people, there was no way to do a background check, a criminal history check, to know whether they're a good guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the things here, that it's not necessarily that we don't, that we're, obviously there's going to be people that say like, this guy's racist. He just wants to stop these people from coming into America. Ask yourself, and this is the conversation Rod and I were having, are you going to open up your home to these people? Are you going to open your home up to people without knowing who they are? Exactly.
Right.
I'm not saying that means automatically it's a bad person, but you want to know who's coming into your home. And that should be the same way that it is, I think, of who's coming into any country. If you try to go into Mexico, they're going to want some papers. You can't just walk into Mexico. Unless did something change that I don't know about, but you can't just walk into Mexico. So let me let
past the federales.
No, it's not easy, man. Listen, you got to pay a fee to leave Mexico. I don't think we don't charge anyone to leave. So I learned that the hard way the last time I was in Mexico. Joe, did you want to say something about this?
I'm actually just sharing the link right now. Sorry, I'm a little late.
Oh, okay. Is that in the chat? Did you put it up?
No, my feelings are the same, right? I mean, you need to control who's coming and going. One of the things that I like to kind of try and put upon people who don't understand some of what's going on now that always gets glossed over is we are legally immigrating 4 times as many people today as we were 20 years ago.
Also, more people immigrate into the United States than all of the countries in the world combined.
And yeah, absolutely. And then that's the other one.
And we're racist.
Yeah, and somehow, you know, we've quadrupled in 20 years. We've quadrupled the amount of people we legally let enter, which in turn gave us immigrating more people than the rest of the world combined. So I don't understand where the disconnect is for whatever other folks are going to be trying to get in. We at least make sure we know who they, you know, as best as we can, who they are, right? I mean, I don't understand why anyone has a problem with making sure that people coming in are what they say they are. And depending on what documents you look at, there are a high amount, especially the people who are illegally entering from the non-usual sources, right? They're running into higher rates of murder and rape. There's a huge percentage of violent criminals that come across, and we're not talking about, you know, the family who, you know, hitches a ride and, you know, hops across. We're talking about people who enter, you know, in the middle of the desert, middle of the night type things. And, you know, we've seen a lot of those busts here lately. At least it's getting published now. So you know, whoever wants to come, I don't care. I just want to make sure that the people who are coming are good, and you know, and they're not of the criminal aspect. That's where I come down. I don't care. I mean, because, you know, all my family immigrated here. You know, I'm not first generation, but you know, we're not.
And this is not relevant to. This is not relevant to this particular situation in terms of the whole immigration question, right? This is about people coming from specific places in what's called the Trump ban, right? Coming from specific countries that they want to take a look at or take a closer look at. So ultimately, it looks like from what both of you guys are saying that the Supreme Court was going to have to deal with this because lower courts, you know, just went the political route or the politically correct route and didn't give the president the power that he would usually have, which the people who are fighting this, if the tables turn and there's someone else in the White House, they're going to want that power.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is notorious. 9 out of 10 of their decisions get overturned. They're hopelessly liberal. So a lot of these, there was one court case in the state of Washington, and one of the things is you have to seek standing. So if you need to sue somebody for some reason, you have to show a damage. Now, typically the damage has to already occur, but in Washington, what they did is they allowed a college to sue against the travel ban because these people could apply to college and they weren't going to get the revenue because of that, which that's completely preposterous.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. If you want to come to America that bad,
do it legally.
Take the time. Yeah, take the time. Or listen, if it takes a little bit longer, if you're a good person, you have good intentions, you don't have you know, what they're screening for in terms of terrorism and stuff like that. If you don't have those things in the background and everything, it's still going to be here for you 6 months, a year, 2 years later. It's not running away anywhere. Now, let me ask before I don't know if Rod wanted to jump in here, but before you do that, Rod, someone send me that link again so I could put it in the description. I didn't see that link from you, Joe.
I saw Tavon posted it up.
Oh, Tyven. Okay.
Tyven. Sorry, yeah, Tyven.
I was like, Tavon.
Sorry.
That's okay. Let's call him Tavon from now on. That's way sexier.
Let me copy this link, and I'm gonna repaste. I'm gonna paste it here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, that does a huge redirect. I can't do that.
Oh, it does. Oh, okay.
I can click through and then do it. Here we go. Found it.
Yeah. So Rod, did you have something you wanted to say to that while Joe's sending me that?
Did you guys want to talk about the situation that happened down at South Beach, in Miami?
Are you guys aware of what Rod's talking about here?
No, I just got
okay. All right. So yeah. So why don't you fill these guys in, Rod?
Okay. So there were a group of guys, I think 5 gentlemen, that were down in, there's a pier right where the cruise ships go in and out of Miami. And you can actually fish off of that pier. And they were open carrying. And I guess some resident or some person called the police on them. Now, one thing about the state of Florida, we are able to open carry if you're going to and from fishing or hunting. You can open carry. It is a little known law, but it is a law. There were Miami Beach police officers that had their guns drawn on those people. Matter of fact, the guy had like a what's the little camera that Hank that you use all the time? The GoPro, yeah. Mm-hmm. He had like some type of apparatus where the GoPro was like on his chest, like if he were a cop with a camera on him. And the cop was heard saying, "Don't touch your freaking gun! Don't touch your gun! And put your hands on your head." And the guy was like, "I'm not going to touch my gun. Why would I need to touch my gun?" So therefore, to make a long story short, all the charges were dropped against these men because it was found out that they were within their rights to be able to open carry.
Mm-hmm. Because they were fishing on the pier?
Yeah. If you, in the state of Florida, if you go, if you in the motion of going to or from hunting or fishing, you can open carry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's some other situations as well that you can open carry. And I think it was 6 guys. These guys were not, I don't think it was just that they were fishing. Obviously, you got to be fishing and doing stuff like that. I think that they're part of an open carry advocacy group. And they also notified the police department in that area ahead of time of what they were going to do. But yet, you know, the police department decided to like overact to the whole thing. So that's how we got into this situation, and no criminal charges or anything like that were filed. They just arrested them, and then let them go.
They were in custody. They didn't leave the scene. From what I heard, they didn't leave the scene. They were detained for like half an hour or something like that. But they weren't actually arrested, were they?
Let me see. I'm gonna try to look through this article here. Were they actually arrested, Rod? Let's see.
They were detained, I think.
Yeah, they were detained. Yeah, detained. Yeah. Okay. And they claim that the police that detained them committed assault and battery. So,
well, in Florida, assault and battery are very easy to commit. Well, not from a law enforcement official doing it, but as far as just the general charges for assault and battery are very, very weak in Florida. Basically, any type of battery, if you touch someone and they don't want you to touch them like that is technically battery. And the assault, the verbal threatening is very, it's a very loosely interpreted law in Florida and loosely worded. So technically it would be very easy for someone to assault someone verbally and touch them, in you know, if they didn't want to be touched, and it'd be battery. Even
can we use that at the airport?
I wish we could.
No,
I wish we could. Oh, that's just not assault and battery. That's sexual assault, in my opinion. But
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it's very easy to do that. You know, for it to be done. And that was, I believe, the Florida Concealed Carry Group. It was a staged event, and they've done this a lot all over the state. You know, open carry from a fishing and hunting perspective has happened a lot. So I mean, obviously not normally in Miami Beach, but. It's not something that should be out of the ordinary. It's not something that any police officer in Florida shouldn't be aware of. I mean, it's not like it's something that far out of the realm.
Right. And I don't know that
here it would have been in Indiana, it would have been a big yawner because open carry of handguns, rifles, pistols, shotguns, anything is completely legal up here. So, I mean, you know, it's a non-issue up here and in a lot of states.
I think that the Miami Police Department is saying they weren't notified. The open carry guys are saying that they did notify them, but there is a statute for people who live here in Florida, and even those who don't. I see some people asking in the comments about this. There is a statute. It's 790.253H, which allows a person hunting, camping, or fishing to openly carry a gun. There you go. So you can do it if you're hunting, camping, or fishing. So We can dig more into that statute. Hey, let me see. I'll pull up some stuff and dig into.
See, the cops don't know the laws for the most part. And my first experience with that was I got my first concealed carry permit in Minnesota as a non-resident. And when I was doing my class, one of the guys, he was open. Minnesota is a carry state, carry any way you like.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't specify concealed. And he was open carrying in a park. Some women, went, nutso, called the cops. The cops, like hands up, lean on the car, don't touch your weapon, blah, blah, the whole shoot match. And, it was a big nothing burger. He's like, he was educating the police on what the statute was. And likewise, I've had the same issue when I was flying back and forth between New York and Florida with a Mini 14 with a 30-round mag. That 30-round mag was never legal in Florida. But a Suffolk County cop was, checking the gun and writing down the serial number and, just said, yeah, no problem. Go on your way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is part of what happens. This is the reason why I think these guys are doing it, right? They're trying. These laws exist. They're there, I think, for our protection, our betterment. And they're trying to get people to be used to that, right? They want the police departments to be used to that, etc. And then putting them there, and they're putting themselves out there. So I think they understood that something could happen when they went out there and did this. I'm not against what they're doing at all.
Well, my buddy in Minnesota, he's a firearms instructor. I think he's gotten more people in Minnesota their permit than the NRA. And he's an office guy, an IT guy, so he concealed carries in the office, but if he's out, he makes sure he opens carry because he wants people to get used to the side of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Joe, did you have anything else here that you wanted to add to this whole thing? I mean, to you guys in Indiana, this is like, you guys fought these battles.
Yeah, we did. And, up until a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, open carry was fairly rare here in Indiana. Several years ago, I got involved with and helped start a group up here in Northwest Indiana as we were trying to grow our firearms community up here. And we did a lot of open carry events, and they went, generally speaking, very well. But there was a lot of education that had to be done as well, especially for local law enforcement. And since then, we've actually had numerous. I tell people an appropriate place to carry a rifle, for example, is around your local state house or county complex, something like that during a protest or a rally. Inappropriate time would be while you're shopping at, the local Walmart or, Meijer, not that I want it to be illegal, but I just probably, there are times, right? If you want to open carry in the Walmart, the handgun on your hip and a retention holster. All right, fine. But we did some of this stuff as far as, more of an educational sense, and we were very well received. Things went well, and we educated a lot of local law enforcement community members as well who didn't. So it was good. At the same time, on a daily basis, I'm not necessarily a fan of open carry. But then again, I think it definitely has its place. And if somebody wants to engage in, more power to you. I mean, this is America. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do it. I mean, that's one of the freedoms.
These aren't rights that I think
I don't. The only time I cringe when I see somebody exercising it is, carrying, right in front of them, all tactical, ready, like you're willing to kick down a door while you're ordering a burrito. Probably not the best image to put forward, but
yeah. But these aren't rights that we want to give up at all.
No,
Rod, no. So Rod, I know this is like this is something I think that touched something in your opinion. What did you, what's your takeaway from the whole thing?
I mean, me per se, I don't like open carry. Not that I don't like the concept of it. I don't like letting someone know that what I have. Okay. Because keep in mind, then if anything goes down, you're actually the target, the first target at that point. And I would rather not have someone know that I am concealed. When I bring my gun out, I want it to be a surprise. Okay. So that gives me the advantage, but if that's their right and they see fit to do so, hey, more power to them. They like it. I love it. That's my theory on it. But, I think that you know, I was actually at work today, and I was discussing, you know, what I do when I'm outside of work with my firearms training class. And, you know, there was a guy, he was like, man, are you going to go crazy in here? I'm like, why would you say that? And he said, well, man, I apologize. You know, to the guys, he grew up in a home that there were no guns present. He's in his early 50s. And his thing is, and it's funny, but it's sad in the same time, because people are so naive to the fact that they think that guns, when you only think of gun, it carries a negative connotation. And I'm like, man, there's a whole other world out there with competitive shooting, people that go hunting, you know, people that collect. You know, not everybody that owns a gun is looking to kill somebody. I sure as hell ain't. And I don't think anybody in this chat or on this panel is, you know. But my thing is this: if I ever need to protect myself, I want to be able to say, hey, I have something. And
do you carry at work, Rod?
Unfortunately, I can't carry at work because I work for a bank. But Florida law does state that you're able to keep your gun in your vehicle. Okay, that is Florida law there. So I do keep my firearm, my sidearm in my vehicle. Now, what good is doing me out there? Hey, it only serves its purpose when I leave and I'm going home. Okay.
Right.
And then, you know, it's funny that you said that, because we had an active shooter class maybe a little over a year ago at my job. And the gentleman that they had doing it, I can tell that they had little to no experience. Because basically the type of advice that they were giving is probably going to get us killed, you know. And I'm like, man, you know, but a lot of things, and not to get off on this tangent on active shooting, but I was always taught that, you know, as a human, you're either going to do one of several things. You're either going to go toward the fight and try to stop the threat. You're going to freeze like a deer in the headlights, because this has been notated in FBI and law enforcement that, especially in the Colorado shooting, there are people that actually froze, that didn't even move. Okay, you can cower or try to hide, you know, or you can run away. You know, those are the options that you have. Mm-hmm. And so you have to theoretically fight. If you want to be a sheepdog or a hero, not saying that anybody should be a hero, but you have to fight that. And you have to also hope that the training that you have allows you to be able to, you know, combat the threat. What I would do, I would hope that my training that I have would allow me to be able to react in a positive manner if I ever came upon a situation. But I can tell somebody's out there in that chat that has never taken a class or a firearm class, that's probably think that, oh, well, I can shoot. Well, you know, it's more than just shooting. Okay, there is your brain and your body, your adrenaline does different things to your body when you happen upon a situation like that. And it's easy to go to a range and shoot at a target, a paper target that ain't shooting back at you. You know, it's when that you hear those bullets whizzing by your ear, and that's when shit gets real, you know. Mm-hmm. And you got to ask yourself deep down, do I have the heart to stand against this? You know, I can only hope. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a badass. I can only hope that if that situation happens to me, that I would have my muscle memory and I would actually be able to combat the threat.
Mm-hmm. Presence of mind, you know,
yeah,
all those kinds of things kick in. A little bit of luck goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really lucky, you never get into a situation like that.
Exactly. You hope you never do.
Yeah, that's what I pray. That's what I pray for all of us. Unfortunately, though, I mean, I think a lot of times people think this stuff will never come. This will never come to them. Oh, that happens to other people on the news or whatever. It happens to someone. And yeah, hopefully it's not you, but when it happens to you, you want to be prepared for it somehow.
Look, I have friends that are cops and have retired and never drawn their weapon other than at target practice. So it is possible, but you're right. I mean, that's like my story about carrying is I didn't carry until I got married. And when that happened, I'm like, you know what? I got something to protect here. And that's when I stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
But in Florida, what I think is funny is a lot of people think guns don't exist, that nobody's carrying. And they have no clue, especially in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, I can guarantee you, because I live in Jupiter Farms, it's the redneck part of Palm Beach. And if I could open carry, instead of carrying an LC9 that's 7+1, I'd like to carry something with, 15, 18, 19 rounds.
Yeah.
If I could open carry in Florida.
Yeah, I freaking open carry a 50 BMG. Come on now. But yeah, I don't personally, I don't find problems with open carry. I think I agree with you in some aspects, though, Rod, that I would rather people not know what's going on. And I think a lot of that in Florida is a good thing. I think there's people who get it and people who don't, that you don't know who you're dealing with. You mess with that little old lady or this person or that person. Pretty much when I come across people and we have these conversations, I'm surprised by who has a CCW, who carries, etc. And pretty much everyone in Florida, unless you're just really, really way out there on the left, but even a lot of those guys on the left or those liberal guys, they've got guns.
They don't want you to know it.
Yeah, and it goes a long way. It's a good thing. So, okay, I don't know if that's it on this. You know what? I did when we started this show, I did not shout out anyone. So if there's anyone in the chat and all that kind of stuff that would, like to get a shout out, let me know and I will go ahead and do that. I figured we'll just jump into it here. I was kind of like getting set up at the last minute myself. So we're all jumping in. I think Rich came in at the last minute as well. And for all I know, same thing with Joe. I think, Joe, you came in here like, Lola got in touch with you sometime today. So
yeah, she did. And I initially messaged her back. I'm like, if I get home in time, I will.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll try and be as close to on time as I can. And,
yeah, I appreciate it.
I think it was about 10 minutes late, so not too bad.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. So I don't know if you guys have any particular thing that you want to jump into. There's a bunch of things here that we could talk to. Music Lover wants a shout out. Shout out to Music Lover. There you go. I don't know. Let me see if there's anyone else. If you guys, Gorillas and Guns, I guess you would like a shout out. There you go. Black Sword Shinobi, shout out. Brian Quick says he conceal carries a Desert Eagle 50 AE. So
done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Will Killer Keller says I open carry my puppy. And then Larry Fulton, I think, has a comment, in regards to what we were talking about before, says there's a bunch of dumbass idiots who open carry and almost are begging to get shot by the cops. I think that does happen. I think that does happen.
You got to be smart.
Yeah. If you're, I'm not against people doing this to exercise, or like, if we don't know what our rights are and we don't exercise them, and fight for them, we are going to lose them. And I think there are guys who are doing it properly. And then maybe there are some guys out there, I think, that are looking for it, I guess you could say. There's all types out there, We can't paint everyone with one brush.
Right.
Psycho 316 says, sure, Hank. So shout out to Psycho 316. David G, shout out to him. Hillbilly Nitro USA shout out, says he's almost at 400. How many subs? I think it was 400. So you guys should check out Hillbilly Nitro. And I'm trying to see who else. Chris Bullets wants to shout out his 9mm. And there's a whole bunch of other people in here. Yeah,
9mm is the best amount of millimeters ever. Look at it. It's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Pretty awesome. Sergeant Poppy says, where's Walter? Walter is, Walter's been really busy. I think he was here yesterday and he was saying how that he is doing all the welding. So Walter will be looking for a welder at some point here, but he's got a lot of work to do. So that's what's going on here. Let me see who else, if there's anyone else. Maximus 2012 says, shout out to my PX4 Storm compact carry, trusty EDC sidekick. And Hamburger Helper says, I just show my wiener, the attacker will fall down laughing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a sight I want to see.
Nobody wants to.
And Kenny Van Cleef says, I'll up you one with a 10 millimeter. So I don't know. What do you think about the 10 millimeter, Joe? Uh-oh. I have a feeling that Richard's getting a 10 millimeter. Oh, no, he's not. He's getting something else right now.
No, I don't think that's a 10 millimeter.
No, that's not. No.
You know, if I was going out on a hunt where I was hunting hogs and hiking through the brush, you know, and as a sidearm to have on me, you know, to catch a hog as it was hopping out of the bushes, I'd be all over 10 millimeter. I settle on 9 millimeter because, you know, and we're not going to get into a caliber debate, but it's simply for me, and I found this for every other person, doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, how buff you are, how many bajillion pounds you can put up on the bench press, whatever. 9 millimeter is kind of the overall best amount of caliber, grain, bullet weight, speed, recoil management, the whole kind of package, right? I don't know. I mean, and I know
if
people
who
are a surgeon with 45, right? And they can freaking shoot better and faster with a 45 than I can with a 9. But you give them a 9 millimeter and they can even do better, right? So for me, it's capacity, because I don't always carry a spare magazine, so that's slack. So I got a G19 with 15+1 rounds. You know, so for people who don't know, I've worked in some form of medicine for about 20 years now. I started out as a firefighter EMT, then I moved over to the hospital. I worked on a level 1 trauma team for 10 years in the greater Chicagoland area, right? As part of that 10 years, I've seen legitimately about 1,000 people shot. That's a lot of people. And I will tell you, it is about shot placement, shot placement, shot placement. That's it. Okay. That's where it's at. So be it 9 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 45, unless you're talking about getting hit with a 50 cal or something, right? Or you're stepping into rifle calibers. If it's coming out of a pistol, it's about shot placement. And I would much rather get 2 good hits with a 9 millimeter than I would a 110 or 145, right? Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's where I've landed on it, from everything I've read, everything I've studied, everything I can shoot, and a ton of people that I've seen perforated.
Okay, very cool. Okay, I don't know what Richard's up to over there.
Yeah,
I'm getting the Gorn ready.
What the heck are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm getting the Gorn ready. Look what I got.
Oh, he's getting, there you go.
You sound like he's getting ready for World War III.
He's got a classic Hank Strange patch. I think Pebbles is going at it over there. Yep. Average Joe Tube. Let me just give a shout out to Average Joe. Average Joe Tube says, if more people open carry, liberals and citizens wouldn't shit themselves every time they see a gun. Tactical disadvantage, question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, sure, but not as big as if these people pass gun bans. So there you go. And there's lots of stuff going on here. I'm going to let you guys take over for a second because, you know, so there's someone here actually to visit me. So you guys take over. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Yeah, I've got visitors. Hold on one second.
So, I mean, you could open carry this, right? 10 millimeter?
Sure, why not?
Hey, guys, I got something to show you.
So I guess we're doing Gorn?
We're doing Gorn?
Yeah, I got a
Gorn. Early Gorn.
A nice hand stop here. I can't think of the damn name of the company that makes it. Damn, I can't think of the name of it. Freak. But this thing is so sweet. Everybody, SD Tactical, something like not that. It's not SD Tactical. I can't think of the name of it, but man, this hand stop is nice. Though. I love this thing. Got my Enforce light on here. Oops, sorry guys.
I'm blind.
Enforce light. Yep. I think it's maybe 300 lumens. Vortex Strike Eagle on here, 1x6.
Wait, did we get to Gorn already? And those like 10 seconds I was gone?
Yes, you were gone 10 seconds and we're full on Gorn.
They 3D printed an
We're like the
wedge.
hell with Hank. We're gonna do some Gorn.
Guys, okay, everyone's showing guns. Hold on 1 second.
So this is my 3D printed AccuWedge.
What is that going?
So your AR-15 to stabilize the upper.
Oh.
So that drops in the back here.
Can you show it where it's going on the camera?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it goes behind the rear pin. So when you drop the top in, it stabilizes the upper.
Oh,
It's just a wedge, and it fits behind the pin there.
So what type of AR-15 is that?
It's actually Anderson Lower, and there's a company by me in Palm Beach. They do. What was that? What was that?
That's why you need a wedge.
Oh, that's low. That's low blow. Right
Sorry,
there.
I couldn't help it.
And there's a company by me in Palm Beach. I'll give them a plug, 22 Mods for All, and they do a bunch of uppers, and I got 2 of these uppers from them. So I got 2 pistol uppers.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. I guess we're doing early Gorn. You know, so
We'll save some for later.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I had to go get my star.
Oh,
Star.
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. The star out of the bag. There you go.
Oh, it's so nice.
Let's just go get that. You know, since I moved, it's like I'm having a, you know, I don't have all the guns and stuff like that over here. I have to get them. I have to get them all over here. But there you go. I'll be pulling out some guns every now and then.
You need a real bullpup.
Oh boy.
I have the real one.
Damn.
Okay. PS90s are about to get pulled up from everywhere right now. Joe's pointing at his PS90 right up there. There you go. The awesomeness.
He's got the cool desert tan.
Yeah. If Rod Mills and I got a PS90, then we'll have a club going. You ever had a PS90, Rod? Are you into bullpups?
I'm not all into bullpups.
Oh, okay. Okay. And we're gonna eject.
Richard had this look like, what is he saying?
We're ejecting Rod Mills right now. Just kidding.
Curses, Rod Mills. He had that look like.
You never had any bullpup, not one. There's no bullpups out there that you like at all, Rod.
I mean, I guess I like that one that you took up to Reed Hendricks.
The X95.
Yeah. And I like the one from IWI.
Yeah, they're both from IW.
they are.
If you're talking about the Tavor. The Tavor is from IWI.
The Tavor, that's it.
Yeah, and then the X95 is like a progression along the line.
Yeah.
Of the Tavor, and they're both from IWI.
I can't tell the difference, to be honest with you.
No, okay.
Yeah.
There's some slight differences. Couple things different in there.
What would you say is the upgrade for the what do you say, M90?
X95.
No, the X95. Yeah, the X95.
Yeah. What's the upgrade from that from the Tavor?
Well, I think that there's more stuff built in, so you can change the. I don't have the Tavor here, but this part of the trigger guard kind of grown up.
I think I saw Such do that.
Yeah, you could change that. There's some furniture on the front of the handguard that you could remove. There's a few different things. It's a little bit more streamlined. Yeah. I think it's just
a cosmetic.
Yeah.
The magazine release is moved up to the front where like an AR would be instead of the back one on the SAR.
Yeah.
I have both. I love them both. But you know, they're I love them both. I don't think I choose between the two, but I like them both. Somebody was asking me about the handrail here on this AR, I think in the comments. This is actually a Spikes Tactical Builder's Spider Sandbox.
That looks good, man.
Nice.
So yeah, this thing, I mean, the pictures don't do it justice. This
looks
thing
nice and light too.
So it comes with the rail, the upper, and then the lower. The upper and lower stripped. I built up the lowers done. I just literally got in my barrel and bolt carrier. So I'm gonna put those in tonight, and then this guy will be complete.
Okay. So wait, you gotta end the debate. What grease do you use on that barrel going into the upper receiver?
What grease?
Yeah.
I don't. This is a nickel. This is nickel Teflon. So, you know, I might put
Wait, you're supposed to grease that? You're supposed to grease that
in there, torque the damn barrel.
Yeah, you got to have molybdenum disulfide.
I don't even use a torque wrench. I hand torque it to where I think feels good. I put it on there, and boom, it's done.
Well, the torque spec is 35 to 85 foot-pounds, so it really doesn't matter. It feels tight, lines up. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Is there like, I didn't even know you had to put grease on that thing.
No, you don't want the bimetallic corrosion between the steel barrel and the aluminum upper receiver, because then it rust welds itself in there. Come on, Hank.
No.
And you can't.
Richard, can you say that in regular human terms?
I try to you know, I mean, grease only when it's necessary. You know, if you got to grease it up, I mean, you know,
do it.
It's too dry.
Yeah.
You got to make it wet.
Hey, yeah. Kevin Doughty says sex loop. Now I don't have it. I don't have
loop.
Yeah. To go. By the way, Joe, that's a really nice gun. Where's the barrel from?
So the barrel is from Faxon. It just showed up. It is their 223 Wild match barrel. I don't know if we can get focus on that. There you go. 223 Wild match barrel. It's the gunner profile. And for those who don't know, for Faxon, what they did is they took a government barrel and they remove all that extra material and weight on the front to kind of give it more of a pencil barrel front, to keep the heavier taper in the back. It balances it out a lot nicer, moves, you know, doesn't put as much weight out front. I don't know. I like these barrels, so we're going to see how it performs with this one. But this total weight on this build with the optic should be right at 6 pounds, hopefully.
Okay, pretty good, pretty good. So we've got some comments.
You know, it's an AR. It shouldn't be a boat anchor.
Yeah, we've got some comments on the whole grease thing. Gorillas and Guns says steel and aluminum don't get along. Classified information says Hank uses elbow grease. Tango Hunter says he uses lithium grease. Greg 98K says I spit on it. Joe Carpenter says spit on it. There's lots of spit on it. Screaming Skull Saloon says ALG lube. So you can go on with the different kinds of lubes that people use. Okay, so I do not have an X95, but I do have my Tavor.
There you go.
All right, so there goes. My Tavor is heavily modified.
So what did you modify on it, Hank?
So this is modified right up here. So this is the I forgot the name of the stepped up rail here. What the hell is that? Is it the T-Rex? Something like that. I can't even remember the name of it. But that's from I think that's from Midwest Industries, I want to say.
It is. Yeah, I see the sign on it.
Yeah, then I changed is it
what about that flash outer? That's that's aftermarket.
No, this is from Surefire for my suppressor. So my suppressor.
Yeah, okay, I thought that was a Surefire, yeah.
Yeah. So and then also I changed the handguard here as well. So that's got like a M-LOK handguard on it. And I think that's from Midwest Industries. Yeah. So that's pretty much, I changed also, I covered up the gas port as well on that side with actual metal gas port.
Now, why do you cover the gas port?
Because you get a lot of gas space from this. Okay. Yeah, you get a lot of blowback when you're shooting it suppressed.
Gotcha.
And that helps a little bit. The trigger is changed on this one, so I have the shooting sight trigger in on this gun. But there's a couple of different triggers out there. I think Geisley makes one. I know Shooting Sight makes one, and I think there's another place that makes a trigger for it. And that's pretty much what I've changed on this. With my X95, like you were asking the difference, my X95, I've done nothing. I just, just put an optic on it. So, and it's not that I think that you absolutely had to put all the stuff on there, but,
So, hey, what's the weight on that Tavor, and how much how much could you expect to spend for one in the store?
Well, I don't think IWI is making Tavors anymore.
Well, I mean, like if you just go to a regular gun store, maybe somebody has a used one or something, or
You could probably get a Tavor. I don't know. I haven't looked at Tavor prices. I'm going to say use some maybe 1,500, 1,700 or something like that.
What was
towards
it
that new? Probably used is probably going to be somewhere from 12 to 17, but I don't quote me on that. I would have to actually look it up. I'm not sure. It's been a while. I've had that for years, probably like 3 years or something. So I have not been in the market for a Tavor in a long time. I think by the time you add all this stuff on it, you're way over that.
Okay, gotcha.
Way past that, going towards maybe $3,000 or something like that when you add all this stuff.
Just get a real bullpup. Get a PS90.
I had a PS90, and then you know what? I like the PS90. I had one, and I sold it, and I should have never done that.
You guys want to see Hank cry?
Yeah. So let's see, Joe. Joe's got his Tavor. What's on yours, Joe?
So this is the X95.
That's X95. Yeah, that's the
X95. And like you, I have an SAR that I completely did up. I replaced Chick-fil-A. Oh, you're killing me. So
sorry.
So I'm so hungry right now, and you too. I could kill for an original chicken sandwich. I'm just gonna shout out Chick-fil-A right now for having the best Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich in any quasi fast food environment ever.
I hate to tell you this, but I had a salad from Chick-fil-A, which I affectionately call Chick-fil-A. But Lola got me a salad.
Oh, that's so mean.
So she got you on a diet or something?
Yeah, I'm on a diet.
My SAR, I did like you did. I replaced the rail in the front. I went with Walther Arms with that integrated front light in there. Didn't change out. I replaced a trigger with the Geisley Super Sauber trigger. So yeah, I mean, and that took the SAR to the next level. This one, to be quite honest with you, the X95, I haven't done anything with because, for the most part, I like it the way it is.
You don't need to. You don't need to really change anything on it. Just put an optic on it.
Yeah, I mean you want to change out you want to put something on the front. There it is. You can slide all three of these off to get your pick rail underneath. It's not the best, but at the same time, it's nice. It's not something I feel like I have to rush out and change like the SAR, which really needed it. The trigger pack in the X95, which is backwards compatible with the SAR, the trigger pack in this is not terrible. I really don't feel like I have to rush out and get a new trigger pack. And I haven't still. I just like it the way it is. I think IWI knocked this one out of the park. I know there's some people who aren't a fan that the magazine releases moved up front here. Some people like that original one for stripping it out. I'm kind of ambivalent on it. I like it a little bit up here. It's familiarity, right? I run a lot of ARs. So I don't know. Yeah. I like it the way it is.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that. And I know that I took my X95 with me as a backup gun when I went to train with Reed. And then I had to use it. And I don't know, someone who goes out there to train can probably correct me. But I think at the end, you're shooting, it's over 400 yards. I think it's either 500 or 600 yards that you have to carry a gun through this whole course and everything, and then come back. And while your heart rate is all elevated, you need to make a couple of long distance shots. And I did it all with just standard X95 and a red dot. I didn't even have a magnified scope or anything like that. Just a red dot. So I think they're perfect the way that they are. I think with the Tavor, a lot of people wind up doing a whole bunch of stuff like this to it, and I think that's the big difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's why IWI discontinued it, right, Joe? Or they're not making them anymore.
Yeah, they discontinued it. They told me because I spoke with Michael Kasnar before he left, and it's a shame he left. I mean, he retired. So, I mean, it's not like he left because he didn't like, he retired, and, he's put in a lot of hard work, a lot of years, and I wish him well. He's an awesome dude. But he had told me before he left, kind of that was probably on the horizon because sales of the SAR just absolutely plummeted when they released the X95. Sales of the SAR they were selling like hotcakes until the X95 came out. And then the X95s were flying off the shelf. And the demand just wasn't there for the SAR. So I can't say I blame them for that. I wish they would have found a way to scale back and still keep making them. Yeah, but I keep checking some of the discount wholesalers, for them to blow out whatever remaining stock when IWI finally just dumps whatever's out there. And I don't know if they will. I'm just speculating, like when FN dumped all their FS 2000s and I didn't pick one up. Because
I saw that deal. I just didn't have the money at the time.
Yeah. So you remember the one I was talking about? Yeah, I didn't either.
How much was it?
Kentucky Firearms, I think it was.
What was the price?
CD&N, I think there was a couple places, and they were like $1,300-$1,400.
What?
And they lasted. I mean, they lasted 2 or 3 weeks, maybe if that. I don't even know about that. They sold a ton of them though. They cleared them all out and they were gone. And if I see that same deal, well, not same deal, because I think dealer pricing on that is about $1,300 on the SAR, something like that. But if I see one drop, in the sub $1,000 range on a clearance or something, I'm going to buy 1 or 2 just because I want to take a couple of them. And my wife's probably not going to watch this long into the thing if she watches this one, so I can say it. She wants
a snippet is about to come
to war, right? So I'll get one and I'll have it Cerakoted white, and like a battle type white, like stormtrooper type white type deal, and logo it out, have the whole thing done, and then give it to her as like Christmas or anniversary present.
She a Star Wars geek?
Not until about 4 or 5 years ago. She was kind of meh, and then something happened 4 or 5 years ago. She absolutely loves all the new. Like Force Awakens, she loves all the new trilogy.
What about the old stuff?
Yeah, but she absolutely loves the new trilogy, and that got her actually more interested in the older ones. Don't explain it to me because she was never in the old ones. She wanted to know why I had to watch, the original New Hope, for like the 20th time, and I'm like, there was like one of the Star Wars, I don't remember which one, but was one of the first movies I ever saw in the theater back in like '83, which I guess would have been Return of the Jedi, maybe. And that was like one of the first movies I can ever remember watching in a theater. And I
so,
probably, 4 or 5
Joseph,
time, whatever it was, 6.
So Joseph, you never saw the original Star Wars in the movie theater?
Not the original one, no. That was released.
I can say I did.
I was born in '77, so that was released like
76, 77, something like that.
77. It was released. I don't remember what month. I'm not sure if I was alive or not, but
I was there.
Yeah. Joe's a baby. Joe's a baby.
All right. Really quick digress. How was that seeing something like that in the theater for the first time? That kind of mind-blowing experience. How was that?
Well, you got to understand. Back then, Star Wars was in. They were in it with Star Wars. So I'm sorry, with Star Trek.
Star Trek. Yeah.
And so it really wasn't. It gave me a. One thing I've learned that most of the people there either Star Wars or Star Trekkies, and for me, I was never a Star Trek guy, but I love Star Wars. So it was Star Trek had already came out before them, so really it wasn't that mind blowing. I guess more so the what was better was the fact that they had the animatronics and all of that stuff was. Cutting edge back then. I think was it George Lucas? So back then George Lucas was still the cutting edge on, because if you look at the old Star Wars movie, you can tell like it's just a single thing and they're just moving the background, But back then you really thought, it was actually moving. And then like Star Trek had like light speed, before Star Wars. But Star Wars, the way they look is different. With Star Wars, they show the stars getting blurred, and with Star Trek, they show the actual ship blurring. So it was a stark contrast between the two, and you was probably more than likely either one or the other. But I loved Star Wars versus Star Trek. I never could get into Star Trek until maybe like when I think Jean-Luc Picard and those guys came along with the Klingons and all that. I kind of got into the television series, but I never was into the movie series.
So did you get into it because you thought the Klingons were like brothers?
I didn't know what a Klingon was until actually Klingons were. I didn't know that dude was black though until I saw like
Worf.
Yeah, Ebony
Michael
Jet
Dorn,
magazine.
he collects jets. He's a jet pilot.
Oh, let's check that
wow.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. And I'm gonna like Moobut says. Moobut says I was a Star Wars geek. Now it's SJW, social justice warrior garbage.
Right.
Which is kind of true. But I think I agree with. I agree with Rod. I think if you were like in our age category back then, it was amazing. And there's huge differences, I think, with Star Trek versus Star Wars. I think Star Wars was more of like a Arthurian fantasy, kind of thing.
Like German, it's like World War II-ish type.
Yeah,
the Empire was based after the Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah, it had more of a European feel to it, and all that kind of the classic storytelling things that were built into it. And I liked it for that. But I think I liked Star Trek because they had hotter chicks. In Star Wars, there was only one chick in the universe, and she was Luke's sister.
Yeah,
Luke kissed her.
Yeah. So,
well, I will say this though, that man, when I'm not as big, I'm gonna tell you this. I fell off. I still love Star Wars. I love them, but when they came out with like Jar Jar Binks,
yeah, that's Roger Rabbit without Jessica.
Yeah, just stupid. What is it called?
CGI.
CGI. I wasn't a fan of that. I mean, I'm like, where in the hell does Jar Jar Binks come in at any point of time? But I got a friend that read all the books, and he let me know ahead of time a lot of the stuff that was happening even before the movies came out. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I guess I actually did like the Phantom Menace, rather. I like the Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his man. They killed him all too quick though, but I loved his fighting tactics. Man, that scene where he and Liam Neeson and the other guy that played Obi-Wan. That is a classic fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that with Darth Maul, and when they go through the little
thing. I can hear the music in my head right now. I just can't.
Yeah. And they have to wait, and Darth Maul is pacing back and forth, looking. I'm like, damn, that is nice. That is sweet when they did that.
Yeah, but that guy who played Darth Maul is a real martial artist.
He's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a badass. He's in a bunch of. He usually plays the bad guys.
Yeah.
But he's in a lot of different movies because that dude is a true badass, and it is too bad that they killed him off that easily. If there's a whole bunch of fan. How can I put it? There's a whole bunch of fan theories.
Fan fiction, you mean?
Yeah, or fan theories on people. Like there's fan theories about Jar Jar. My kids believe Jar Jar is like the emperor or some craziness, So there's all kinds of. Yeah. So Richard Hughes says he has a coworker from India watching. So shout out.
Well, a shout out to Abanov, and let's scare the heck out of him since we can. These are Hank's favorites.
There you go. There
they are.
There you go. FN 57 pistol right there, and PS90 bad acidness with the green laser.
Laser.
Yeah, laser. Freaking lasers.
If I could get a good price, I got to check out Big Daddy Guns through your link, Hank, and see if I can find myself a good price on an FN57 pistol, because I need something to go with that.
Yeah,
I've seen them for like $1,200.
Yeah, that's a novelty gun for me, and I don't know if I can drop $1,200 on something.
What kind of novelty is that?
Joe wants a better.
That's a gotta have.
Yeah, Joe wants a better price. I don't blame him for that. But it is a really nice gun. I think I would buy another one in the future if I could. Let me just do another shout out. I see Big Dick Willie in the chat. Shout out to Big Dick Willie.
Willie.
Yeah, we were talking about.
Did you watch yesterday's show?
Yeah, I don't know if Big Dick Willie watched yesterday's show, but I've already made a snippet out of that conversation, Big Dick Willie, and that's going to be coming up on the Hank Strange YouTube channel pretty soon. So be on the lookout for the conversation that was all about you. Of course, you could just watch the whole episode of yesterday or whatever, but you know, that's coming up. Let me see who else we've got. I don't know if there's anyone else in here. We've got a shout out, but I see some people having a good conversation about Star Wars, Star Trek. Look, I think it's good, and I go to the movies to escape. I don't like going to the movies to see real life shit. As a matter of fact, I don't ever go to the movies to see. I want to see pure fantasy when I go to the movies. So that's great. I think we do get caught up in a lot of social justice and like reprogramming, and a lot of crap is in a lot of the sci-fi movies nowadays. I just like the pure fantasy and sexiness. If I go to a movie and there's no sexiness, I am completely disappointed in that movie because of the lack of sexiness. This is one of my favorite sci-fi movies, like a modern day sci-fi movie. I use that term loosely because it's really old at this point, but Fifth Element.
Okay.
I like Fifth Element. That was pretty sexy. And then what was the new one that he came out with? He came out with a new movie, Valerian and the Thousand, blah, 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 blah.
So good.
I haven't seen it. It's actually on Netflix right now. How is it?
It's watch it on Netflix. Don't spend money on it because it's crap.
All right.
I actually spent money to. I didn't go see it in the movie theater, but I bought it on iTunes, and it's disappointing. I'm disappointed.
Hank, I'll have to give you access to my Plex server. You can watch all that crap for free.
Nice. So Axes and Armpits is commenting, yes, I have always been a nerd, but the reason why I have all these Star Wars Legos is my daughters actually love Legos and they love Star Wars, not just the original Star Wars. They love it and they love Legos. So I live in the Midwest. Half the year here, it's basically like Hoth, living on planet Hoth. It's horrible. It's the worst. So we build Legos primarily in the wintertime.
One second. You wait. I don't want to cut you off. I'm going to put you guys on hold. Keep talking about the Legos thing. I got to grab something.
All right. So we build, it's like our thing that we do in the wintertime when we can't go outside. We build Legos. Now we build some other stuff. We build like Lego movie sets, like the thing we actually wound up building the sea cow from the Lego movie, that big pirate ship thing with the pirate thing on it. Anyway, and it is, so my girls now are 11 and 13. My girls and my stepdaughter just turned 21, and I saw my stepdaughter grow up. I've known her since she's been 3. And, you know, watching her grow up, I want to cherish every moment that I can. And I encourage this to any of the parents out there, especially if you're young and you haven't lived through it yet, how quick it goes. Every moment you can spend with your kids while they still consider you cool and they want to do stuff with you, you've got to spend that time with them. And if it's sitting around, I mean, how awesome is it? Like when we built that Star Destroyer, right? That was like 6 hours, maybe. Because we all build quick, right? So we're building together, we're sorting pieces. We take turns of who assembles, who gets pieces.
Was that the super big one or?
Yeah. So this was, I mean, as an individual, this probably would take me a lot longer than 6 hours, but I mean, 6 hours tops. And that was with hanging out and everything else.
Ain't that a Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
So,
Joe, can you do a PS90 like for Hank?
What's that?
Can you do a PS90 for Hank?
So 6 hours of basically uninterrupted time with my daughters, hanging out, sitting around the table, just being together, right? That's priceless. So like when I got that set, I think I got it, you know, whatever, Amazon Prime or whatever, for like $99, right? $99 for 6 hours of no phones, no nothing, just us sitting, talking, doing stuff together. I mean, that's the best money I've ever spent in my life. And literally, this is nothing. What I just showed you guys, I've got a table downstairs in the basement that has, God knows, there must be $1,500 worth of Lego sets on that damn table.
Yeah.
So you need to do a video with
what
them.
We do.
Like do stop motion animation.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Abhinav says, nice Lego ship. Joe, you got to do the slow movement of that ship past the camera. You got to do it. Yeah, you got to come close to the camera and do the slow move.
All right.
What's the sound?
Oh, and Joe,
that's some Spaceballs, I think.
Joe, you got to do this. You know how they? Hey, Joe, you know how they do the shot where the ship kind of goes toward the camera and it kind of goes to the side and then goes back. Do that for me, real quick.
You gotta lock it on Joe.
Yeah. All kinds of requests right now, but that's awesome.
Back.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. So listen,
hey, I used to have a TIE fighter, and it had it was real cheesy back now, but back in the day, that thing was cool where the wings would pop off, and then it had like a little button in the back, and it was like little red dot, you know, man.
So look at that. Okay.
So this thing actually completely opens, and there's like a little walkway, and there's little control things, and
can you do the British? Can you do the British accents of those dudes in there?
No, I haven't done a British accent since 1775. Not 1776, 1775. 1775 to be precise.
Yeah. So listen, since we're talking about Legos, and I agree with you, Joe, I think that's true. The stuff you do with your kids, like playing board games, Legos, things like that, just hanging out, talking to them, telling your kids stories and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's the awesome stuff that is totally priceless. So with that in mind, because I am a nerd myself, I'm going to offer this challenge up to you guys, because when I was on vacation, I actually went to in Arizona. We found a Lego store, and I went to a Lego store with the kids, and I discovered this, which I think is really cool. Check that out, Brickheads.
What is a brickhead?
So it's basically Legos that you can build a Lego person that looks just like you. So see, here's this. So here's this.
I don't think I want to do that.
Check it out. Here's this guy right here. He built a Lego person who looks like him. She built a Lego that looks like her. This guy built a Lego that looks like him. It's a whole kit. It comes with all the different pieces and stuff like that. So I am going to build a Lego Hank Strange out of this. And I challenge you guys to do the same thing. Let's see.
To build a Lego Hank Strange?
No, to build a Lego version of yourself.
That is cool.
Of you. No, you don't have to do Lego me. I'll do the Lego me, but
is it going to have a mohawk?
But they said they were going to 3D model you and that I could 3D print you out, but I said I wouldn't do it unless I got your permission.
Oh, well, go ahead. That's fine. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I think this is cool. I think this is a cool thing from Lego that you can make like your own.
But you should let everybody know your kids are what, 5 and 7, right?
No, they're 18 and 19.
I think that's fun that they still want to do that. That's cool.
Yeah, they're 18 and 19. So,
hey, will it have a mohawk?
Of course. It absolutely will have a mohawk.
Will it have
That's the cool thing about. There's a lot of different. Let me show you all the different pieces. You could put your own Lego pieces in there, but look at all the pieces that come with this.
Will it have a gun?
Wow.
So I would have to. I'm gonna make it have a gun. There isn't a gun in. There isn't a gun in the kit for this thing, but you know.
We're
gonna make it have one. So.
There's no SHTF 50 in the kit.
No, we got to talk to Walter and get him to come up with one. Yeah, so that's something I'm not sure where I'm going to put that out on. You know, whether I'm going to do a regular video or throw it up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But that's coming up sometime. That's like a future project.
I got a good idea. Build a Lego Hank, and then take Walter's 50 cal and see if you can shoot it. And then we can look at the remnants afterwards, see what happens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, how many Lego Hanks can a 50 cal go through?
Yeah. Someone who says this, the classified information says the original Glocks were made from Legos. And Big Fish Little Boat says 1 Lego block equals Glock. Yeah. And Will Killer says, got to go to Brick Arms for the real guns. So there you go.
Yeah.
And John Dieter says Walters would have a tank.
If it's going to be big enough, you can use, you know, like at SHOT Show and like, you know, they hand out all those different little like gun USB swag things and stuff, right? So you got a few. I gave one of those to my firstborn. She's got like one of those like big like American Girl dolls. or decent sized. I don't know if it is. It's a decent sized doll, and the wrapped on that drink koozie thing. It's like a tactical vest you're like supposed to put on like a bottle or a soda can. She put that on her doll, and then she gave it that whatever one of those guns that had the USB in it, right? So it's a decent size like plastic gun. She put it in her hand, and she put a 13C patch on the front of it. It looks awesome.
Nice.
Did you bring that to school?
Is that on your Instagram?
It is on my Instagram. It's probably post SHOT Show, so probably I posted that picture toward the end of January, beginning of November.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to scroll back.
Months old.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you. Man, that is a nice logo you have. Who made? Can you give a shout out to the person that did your logo for you?
4 or 5 years ago, I used a company called, I think it was Hatchwise, and basically you sign up for an account and you put up your idea on there, and then you say what you're willing to pay for it. You know, what you're willing to pay for it, and then people from all across the globe will then, if they like the price that you put up, will submit samples and artist renderings, and you go through a creative process with them as you go through it, and then ultimately whichever one you select is the one that is the one you go with. So I do not, the person who came up with this is actually from Greece. And that's basically what I had in my mind and what I put down on paper. And that guy came up with exactly what I wanted. There's another, and I don't have the, oh yeah, here. There's our alternate logo, which is, this one was actually, there were several, there was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 that went through the process. And this was one of the logos that I really liked. It didn't fit what I wanted, but I really liked it. So I actually wound up buying this one as well.
Because that's an AK and an AR, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually crisper in the regular format, but obviously it's on a woven patch. So it's not quite
if you hold it up with your hands like that, we'll be able to get a good look at it.
Yeah, let me try and
there you go. Block out the, there you go. Awesome. Yeah. That looks pretty good, man.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So if anybody wants the company that makes the patches, and they didn't design the logo, but they took the vector image, or I don't know, I sent them the whole file with the PDFs and vector images and stuff. They actually do really good woven images. But anyway, that's how I got my design. That was what I came up with. This other guy came up with this for me, I guess, on his own. And it wasn't what I was looking for, but I liked it so much. I paid $100 for the logo itself on this one. Just because, I mean, the guy worked through it, you know, so I don't know. It was, I'm happy with it. I like the way that one came out a lot. And then this one.
Check it out. Pebbles is in the building. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look. Pebbles.
Tactical
What's up,
parrot.
Pebbles? What?
Hey, we need
camo.
Like that. You might want to try it. If you don't buy anything, if you don't buy or find one that you like, I don't, there might have been like a $25 listing fee or something. But if you don't select one, there's no anything. So,
okay. Can you? Hey, Joe, can you put the site in the chat?
Yeah, it's just Hatchwise, like hatch, like hatching an egg. WISC.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So, speaking of patches, I did get this patch from Clover Tack. Let's see.
Oh, nice.
See it? So I got the Clover Tack patch right there. Shout out to him, Clover from Clover Tactical, for sending out the patch. There you go. I've got autofocus turned off on mine, but really cool patch. Thanks for sending that out. Well, I'll get that posted up in something here at some point once I get back to my regular schedule on posting stuff. All Thumb says, "Where's the Big Dick Willie patch?" Big Dick Willie's gonna have to make that patch. I got your patch right here. So there you go. Listen, was there any other news that we wanted to cover here? I know we didn't talk that much about the new president of Turkey. Is Turkey like an ally, not an ally? I know, like in America, we have this thing going back and forward, right? I don't think they're really on our side.
Okay,
What's going
so
on?
I believe this is Erdogan's third term, and Erdogan has really brought Turkey away from being an ally of the United States. They're in a strategic area that's important to us, and we had bases and I believe missiles there at one time. And Erdogan's kind of given us the cold shoulder. Also, he's gone more religious as opposed to secular with the government. And he's taken away a lot of the freedoms.
Yeah, and Turkey's not 100% Muslim, but they are a high percentage, right?
Yeah.
And he's definitely like you know, devout. Let's put it that way. So we've lost some influence there, and we use it as a strategic place to transfer troops and launch aircraft and different things from, but now we don't really have that advantage anymore, right? And this is not recently. This has been for what, like the last 8 years, 10 years?
I'm not sure if Erdogan has a 4-year term, but I believe this is his third term. And you know, just like every good dictator, he's probably going to elect himself for life.
Yeah, there was a attempted military coup. I think that was a fake coup. And there's like a symbiotic balance between their military and their civilian government kind of deal. And there was a sort of attempted military takeover to hand back over, but they weren't willing to open fire. Their military wasn't willing to open fire on the civilian police there, basically. So it kind of went away.
I think Erdogan staged that to get rid of dissenters.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it was a staged coup.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I really don't know enough about it, but it's sad because there's actually some really good aerospace and gun manufacturers over there.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to say. Yeah, we get quite a few guns from Turkey, shotguns. There you go.
TriStar shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh,
what other is it? Oh, it's not just shotguns. We got a lot of stuff coming out.
Well, the Canik and the Canik. I'm sorry.
The what?
The Canik.
Okay, Joe, go ahead. Hit us.
All right. Yeah. So he was talking about Canik, or as they call it in Turkey, Janik. And then there's also Sarzamal, which is another company over there in the U.S. It's known as SAR USA. And I've shot the Canik TP9, which is as close to the SAR 9 as you can get. They're side by side. I honestly think the SAR 9 is a little nicer, but they're both great handguns. The TP9 comes in a little lower priced, but they're both great handguns. I've got a what's their semi-automatic shotgun that I have? The KRX from TriStar.
Okay.
And Canik and TriStar, all of them are related somehow.
Yeah. And someone's saying MKE. What's MKE?
I think they're standalone. I don't think they're associated with the other two, if I remember correct.
But speaking of Canik, the TP9 SFX Elite was in Deadpool 2.
It was.
Cable. Yeah, Cable had.
Is that what he was shooting? Okay, I thought. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, I did see that. I thought that looked familiar, but I couldn't. You know, I'm not as good a gun guy as I should be. That's all I can say.
So many of those companies out there. It's hard to, once you get outside the U.S., be up on all of them all the time. And some of them are changing names a lot too. So
yeah. And Mubat says Stoger stuff is made in Turkey. You know, so that hasn't changed. They're perfectly happy to sell us guns, I'm sure. Just not to let us use their bases. I think that if all of a sudden their borders came into question, they might want our help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's like an interesting situation that's going on there in Turkey as well. I think that's kind of bubbling up. I mean, I don't know if I'm not saying it's at like boiling point or anything like that, but that situation's kind of bubbling up that it's gonna at some point become a problem. So I know I usually hear about it in the news when we're trying to do something or we want to do something strategically, but we cannot use their bases, so we have to do other things. You know, it's just I just think it's funny with a lot of these countries where we run into those issues, and then later on when they get into trouble, it's like, oh, help us, America.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and Gorilla Guns has a great point. Tryptophan comes from Turkey.
Yes, I saw lots of turkey comments. You know, someone said turkey bacon is blasphemy.
Yeah.
Someone says they like turkey, but bacon is better.
Yeah.
I see all that stuff. All those comments are popping up. So, you know, the guys in the chat, man, they're funny.
Oh God, yeah. This chat, when I'm catching it, is hilarious.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of one-liners out there.
Yeah. Hey, everybody that's in the chat room, man, go ahead and make sure you do those thumbs up now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Please do hit the thumbs ups. We appreciate those. It helps out. Obviously, there's a bunch of things going on. You know, we're being marginalized by the YouTubes.
The other news I saw is Doomberg from New York City says he wants to run against Trump. Now, the problem is Bloomberg is like 5'0" and Trump is about 6'8". So if you have them debating on stage, it's going to be like that.
I want to say Trump is 6'4", isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe
I want to say 6'4" because I met him and I was standing next to him. He's about an inch taller than I am, which surprised me. I didn't realize until I was talking with him and next to him that he was, you know, basically, you know, he was an inch taller than I was. I had no idea.
Joe, I got to be nicer to you. You just remind me of that.
What's that?
Yeah.
If you're 6, well, I got to be a lot nicer to you.
Yeah, Joe's. I've met Joe. How tall did you say you were, Joe?
6'3".
6'3". Okay.
Yeah. So, and you know, if you see a picture of me next to like Military Arms channel, he's got like an inch on me, and then you know, like next to Hickok 45, there's a picture of me standing next to Hickok 45 and his son John, and I look like I'm like 5'2".
Yeah. Everybody looks like ridiculous. A midget in those.
But the Trump thing, which is crazy, right? So we were talking about my daughters earlier. And last night, they're watching TV and they're surfing YouTube on the TV. And one of my videos came up as a suggested video. I don't know how. And my youngest, for the first time, saw the video of me talking to Trump. It's up on the channel. And she's like, "Oh my God, how did that happen? Why didn't you ever tell me?" I'm like, and you know, I'm thinking back in my mind. All right, she's 11, so that happened. What was that 3? That wasn't that long ago. She was only like 8 or 9, but I guess she never put 2 and 2 together until he was elected president. Like right after, I don't know. But anyway, and that's all she's been talking about, like all day today. You know, apparently, and you know, last night, it's like,
yeah, you're famous now.
So yeah, I like to joke. I'm probably one of the last people being with a gun. Because that was just before he got Secret Service protection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like, I don't know, a week before he got Secret Service protection, something like that.
Okay. Okay, cool. I just threw something in the chat for you guys from the firearm blog that we could talk about. I'm just trying to go through and see what news here, get some gun news, pop in things that we could talk about. I don't know if you guys had any, gun news, any things that came up. But what I'm looking at here is the and where did I put it now? Okay, move the article out of the way, and now it's going. Okay, there we go. Richard Hughes with who is that? Who's that lady? Richard Hughes?
I don't know, but I hooked up with her in DC.
Oh, is she like blind or something? I mean, no. I had to get you back, man.
You're never coming over. That's all I got to say, Hank.
You've been saying to me, no, very, very attractive. You're very, very fortunate, man. Very fortunate. So, so did you guys see this? Let me see. Actually, let me share this with the folks in the chat. This is a folding AR from what is it? Deadfoot Arms, I believe. Checking out this this post that I put up there. What do you guys think about the folding ARs? Good idea, bad idea? There's a bunch of different variations out there.
Gimmicky.
Oh, okay. Okay, you wouldn't use it?
It's gimmicky, but it's kind of cool. The idea that you can, you know, conceal carry it in a case, you know, just about this size, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
this, go ahead.
So it doesn't look like you got anything, that you could, you know, throw it in a tennis racket case just about.
Yeah. So here's the article. Go ahead.
Is it?
Well, yeah. See, we don't know until we test it or someone tests it. AR. So this is from the Firearm blog. Says AR-15 with a folding barrel in stock from Fold AR. So Deadfoot Arms recently posted on their Facebook page about a new company called Fold AR that's releasing a new folding AR-15 rifle, Fold AR uses the Deadfoot Arms Modified Cycle System, MCS, folding stock kit, along with a proprietary barrel folding mechanism that allows the user to fold the AR-15 at both ends. So, and then there's a picture if you guys take a look at it. You know, I think it's interesting. Is it gimmicky? Sure, you know, but if you want to have something that in a bag or in a backpack or something like that does not look like an AR, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. The durability and all that kind of stuff, we would have to test it. Has anyone here ever had a chance to test anything like this?
The Deadfoot Arms I have. The front folding portion I haven't.
Okay.
It seems like the rear Deadfoot Arms folding like a buffer tube shouldn't really be an issue durability wise. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You know, the folding barrel though, that's I don't know. I would personally, I would rather have, and what I do have is something from Midwest Armament or Mid America Armament. I'm sorry, MMA, Mid America Armament, and I've got a video up on it in the channel of their rapid takedown kit. And it's the rail unclamps. It's got a throw lever on it. It unclamps. And you can actually throw the lever, you can unclamp it, unscrew the barrel nut, take the whole assembly off, and you're in and out in a few seconds. Now, what you can do is, like, I'll hand torque it. I don't care. If you want to really crank on it, right, you can unclamp it, take the barrel, slide it off, you know, that far. So your wing tabs, you know, like, and this is not it, but I'm just going to use this as an example. So there's the wing tabs on there, right, that'll keep this from rotating. I don't have the barrel in there, so I don't have it locked down. When you screw this down enough, slide it over, it'll keep it from rotating, anti-rotation tabs. So you bring that off just enough to clear those, clamp it back down, you can crank on that handguard, but untorque it and break it on or off. So at least, and with that, you're getting repeatable zero and locking it down and I don't know how the other one is. So that's my big thing is how's the accuracy going to be?
Yeah, that's something that we would have to see, I guess, as tests and things like that come out. I mean, if you know, I'm always interested in different things that are out there with guns. So there's always the cool factor, and then there's, you know, is this practical? Like, I guess that's what you're saying, right, Rod?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to have its practicality for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, what will it save you in a life or death situation?
Yeah.
Now, if you just want to have it just to go, you know, to the range with and use it as sort of like a semi-toy, then that's fine too. But I mean, that's an expensive semi-toy, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Brian Quick says Deadfoot looks goofy. Let's see. Greg 98K says folding barrels lose point of impact when they heat up. And Opt Out of Gun Control says, if you want a small package, go with something designed to be small, like an MP5, Uzi, Vector, Scorpion, etc. So there you go. Oh, wait, we're getting more pictures of a woman. This is a woman that apparently Richard has hypnotized.
That's right before we started in with some Trump haters, and I got into a shoving match with one of them, and the Secret Service came after us.
So what exactly happened here? How did this go down?
So there's like 4 Trump haters, and they got a bed sheet that says shame, and I just walked by and I said, I love Trump. Trump's great. And I just kept like walked around them. I'm walking past them, and my wife's engaging this lady, and I'm like, oh, I gotta, you know, turn around and go back. And so, you know, we're having some words, and it got a little unfriendly. And I turned, you know, behind me. I got the idea somebody was behind me. I turned. There's some guy like this, you know, with his arms across his chest. He's like, "You're in my space," and he's a smaller guy than me. And now we're all CCWs here. I'm never doing anything. I'm never pulling that move on anyone. I'm never pulling any kind of provocative move. You're in my space, because I know where it can lead to, and I'm going to avoid that situation. So I knew he, you know, wasn't anybody in the martial arts. I knew he wasn't carrying, because it's DC. So I stepped a little forward. I'm like, "You're in my space, bud." And then he, you know, butts me like this, and I butt him back, and then he full on pushes me. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that Secret Service guy has an MP5 over there, and I just don't want to get him excited. So I figured, you know, I get background check for every job I got, and I do like my carry permit. I'm not going any further. But, you know, the guy full on pushed, and I didn't budge. You know, it wasn't, he didn't have the mass or the strength. And then he starts yelling, he ran into me. He ran into me. I said, bud, if I ran into you, you'd still be on the ground bleeding right now.
Right. Hey, you should have yelled to the dude, hey, I know Walter Killer.
Yeah, then you would get your ass kicked. So that's so your wife is feisty, huh?
Oh, you should have heard her going at it with the cab driver on the way back from the White House, and we're going back to, you know, we had a 2-hour break from the meetings that we had, and the cab driver was from Ethiopia, and she's like, "Oh, do you like Trump?" No, Trump's awful. Trump's, you know, he's going off. He couldn't tell you one thing that was awful about him. And so we started hitting them with numbers. We're like, look, do you know what the GDP is? The GDP for this year is projected to be 4.8%. We're at a 40-year low in unemployment. You know, black unemployment is at record lows. You know, unemployment across the scales. People are getting off food stamps where we had record high on all of it. And the guy wasn't, you know, I don't want to hear it, don't tell me. He's like, he sounded like an educated guy, because once I said GDP, you know, he was telling me the economy was no good. I'm like, look, the GDP has been at record heights, you know, in the past 20 years. And he started perking up. I'm like, you need to look this stuff up and prove it for yourself. Yeah. So I think we got a convert there.
Well, I'm not a super Trump fan. Obviously, if you guys watch, you know, what we talk about here, if Trump does or says something I don't like, I talk about it. But I think there's lots of people who are just jumping on the Trump bandwagon. Yeah, and they have no idea, like, what the hell, you know, what is it that he's done? Who has he arrested and put in front of the firing squads? You know, what are you guys talking about?
Right.
You know, what's happening that wasn't happening under Obama, you know?
You know, we grew up in New York together, so you remember all the stupid things he was doing. So I know him as some wealthy fool from New York. And but he's getting more conservative. I'm no Trump fanboy. I'm, you know, not personality over policy. I'm policy first.
Yeah. I think the thing, you know, this is what these guys don't realize. Like, Trump was on their side not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up in New York, I mean, this was, I've posted a video of Oprah asking Trump to run in 1988. You know, so there's a lot of things like that going on here. I don't really think that these guys see all of that or understand it. They're just getting mad. I think you have to look at this in a more balanced way. The things that I worry about with Trump is whether or not he's going to do damage to our gun rights. You know, that's what I'm worried about. We were talking at the top of this about, you know, the ATF has another comments. They open up another comments session, right?
Right.
And I put that link in the description so for everyone to go there and click through it. And I think it's definitely a thing.
See, I don't believe Trump is a principled conservative. I think he's getting and moving in that direction. Likewise, you know, he's not a Second Amendment guy like any one of us or anybody in the chat. But I think his son Eric is.
Yeah, I think the Eric, maybe some other Trumps of his kids and stuff like that, but they're not running. You know, they're not the president.
Right.
Yeah, they can't make executive orders and things like that. So that's the thing that I worry about there. At the same time, when a lot of people just want to jump on that bandwagon and go, hey, this guy's really horrible. He's killed so many people. He's telling people that what I just really don't see or understand what these guys are talking about.
Well, have you seen Maxine Waters lately? You know, she's always yelling impeach 45. And there's this, gosh, what's her name? On YouTube. She just, she stalked Maxine Waters in the hall of Congress. And she's putting her papers in front of the camera and stuff like that, sticking her tongue out at her in the elevator. And she's like, hey, where can conservatives go to eat? Because she was saying everybody should hassle conservatives. She's like, what, do I have to get on the back of the bus? Where can I eat dinner in Washington, D.C.? because now they're all these protesters coming out harassing people. So
yeah, absolutely. Oh, by the way, here's something else that I got when I was in Arizona. Do you guys see that?
I see that.
I reserve my right to bear arms.
That Smokey the Bear doesn't have boobs either.
No. So yeah, I thought this was funny, so I picked this up there. You know, he's got a shotgun right here. I don't know what kind of shotgun that is. Somebody better than me will know exactly what shotgun it is. Looks like an over-under or break open. Yeah, looks like break open. And then he's got something here in a holster, which I can't really see what that is either. Probably a 1911 of some sort. And of course, you know, I don't know where's the gun that this goes to, but you know, like where is that AK? But
the chain fed.
Yeah, but anyway, looks good, sexy. So I'm feeling it. All right, what other news, Joe? Was there any news out there you wanted to talk about? Anything that we didn't hit here?
No, I think pretty much news-wise covered it. You know, if you haven't hit up Gun Owners of America, I think you posted the link. Well, maybe we post it again before the end, or at least embedded in the comments. There's like a day and a half left, I think, for the comment period. It's almost up. So if you haven't commented about the bump stock ban, remember it's not about bump stocks. If you read through, it's like 20 some odd pages. If you read through in the middle of it, that paragraph, and we've done it on a previous show, so I won't rehash it, but it talks about things like two-stage triggers being possibly being written in this. It's not a decision yet. It's
a regulation.
The phrase two-stage trigger is in that 20-page thing, right? And we went through and we posted the link to it. So this isn't just about bump stocks. This is about anything that would alter the rate of fire, which could roll out to mean anything. This is completely redefining what's been on the book since 1934 is what's a machine gun, what's semi-automatic. It is completely redefining it, saying that one hard set definition no longer applies. There can be multiple definitions of what a machine gun is. And that's the takeaway here. It's not about bump stocks. It is about what this does and how it affects not just the interpretation, but a de facto change of the law. And it cannot be understated how important this is, because if this goes through, probably not under Trump, but under a future administration, this could be meant to anything that alters the rate of fire.
Yeah, it could decimate. It could decimate what we know right now is the firearms industry. It could pretty much make most, if not every, gun owner a felon, a criminal.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to do this in a micro way in the state. That's the kind of stuff that's going on here in Florida, and that's something that we need to push back on. But you know, if we push back and win on the state level, the federal level is going to come at us as well. So I think really need to be careful here.
So the problem with that is that there's many of these organizations within the government that get delegated authority to make rules, like the EPA. In fact, the EPA has its own court. So if they say, hey, Hank, there's too much lead on your property, they can take you to court and they'll find you guilty and fine you. Yeah. The problem with this is, like you said, it's a slippery slope. The next administration could come in, put their own people in the ATF, and they're like, darn right, those things are bad and illegal. My big beef is I have a one-term congressman, and when he was coming around to our Tea Party meetings, he was telling me, I'll meet you at the range. I'm a Second Amendment guy. Now, he was an EOD tech. He lost both his legs. His name is Brian Mast. And it's not like I know him. I know him about as well as I know Rod Mills. You know, other than I don't have Rod Mills' phone number and I don't text with him. But
you want it?
Okay, behind the scenes, Rod. Behind the scenes.
Okay.
So, my congressman came up with this cock and bull story. He's like, well, you know, I think gas-operated guns should be made illegal, and that's why I got a PS90. But he said I could be with my family having a picnic and somebody could take me out. Now, I'm not taking somebody out with a gas-operated gun. I'm taking them out with a bolt-action gun at a good distance. that's a cock and bull story. The truth of the matter is, I'd rather he just looked me in the eye and said, you know what, I got a Republican donor that's hoplophobic. He's anti-gun, and I need his money to win.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys turn on a dime. 1 minute he's saying, meet me at the range, I'll show you what a Second Amendment supporter I am. Next minute, boom, he's anti-AR-15.
I don't trust any of the politicians in Florida, not the Democrats or the Republicans. None of them. They can all turn on us, and I've seen them all do it in the last 6 months.
Well, what they talked about at this training, so I was with FreedomWorks this weekend, and what they say is the congressmen are coming off the bus, and they're saying, hey, do you want to be on this committee? And the guy says, yeah, I want to be on this committee. He's like, okay, great. You got to give the RNC, $5 million. And the guy goes, what do you mean $5 million? I don't have. It's like, go through that door. There's a bunch of, lobbyists, and they'll give you money.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are bought minutes after they jump off the bus.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. That's what we're dealing with here. I think we're dealing with that, and we're also dealing with the fact that all of these politicians want to get airtime, right? They all want their 15 minutes of fame, so they all want to be on the talk shows and the late night shows and all that. So even the Republican ones will sell us, right down the river.
Oh yeah.
I think that's how the saying goes. They'll sell us down the river, man, so that they can get that little bit of fame that they're looking for, the money, the position, the leverage over us. And I'm telling you that I'm sitting in a position right now where I don't even trust the Republican ones.
No, there's no.
I don't trust the ones who say they're conservatives and pro-gun and all that. I don't trust none of them. And that's a pretty bad spot to be in, but that's the one that we're in America right now. So, so Joe, if you could, we've got a couple of minutes left here. If you could tell people, why they need to follow that link, send in letters and all that kind of stuff with what's going on with the ATF right now, what would your pitch be?
My pitch would be read what it actually says. I mean, all right. And first, if you don't want to read through all 20 plus pages, bring it up in your PDF reader, hit the search, type in two-stage trigger, and I don't remember if there's a hyphen in there or not. Then you can drop down to like page 10 or 12, whatever it is, get to it, see it, and be like, okay, yeah, he's not lying. This thing is talking about bump stocks. You go through here in these paragraphs, it mentions things like two-stage triggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just binary triggers, but two-stage triggers.
Yeah.
Rate enhancing devices. That's how insane of a level this is taking it, because the wording and verbiage in there, as I said, the wording and verbiage is, it is completely setting aside, right in the verbiage, it is setting aside the definition of what a fully automatic is and what a semi-automatic is, and saying there are multiple other definitions that may apply to make something, that something could then be considered fully automatic. And it goes on after that to say things like two-stage trigger. So that's how insane we're talking here. And if they can say that a two-stage trigger is a rate enhancing device, I mean, the lack of, I know people are hearing me say this right now and saying to themselves, how in the hell could anyone think a two-stage trigger is a machine gun, right? Well, it's not. It's
the reverse. I mean, you're talking
speed. Opposite of that, right? So that is how insane of what we're dealing with right now, and that is the ultimate ramifications of what we're talking about. And that's why, I mean, I'm riled up no matter what. I really don't care about, I don't own a bump stock. I think they're a novelty and pretty silly. But at the same time, I don't want to see them banned no matter what. But my point is, for people who think they're silly and don't care because, oh, it's not this or it's not that, understand that if you pretty much own any semi-automatic firearm whatsoever, that is the next step. And that is, if you read it, what's in there. I mean, just read what it says.
Because they're going to have to, so the next step after that, if they get away with that and they get to establish that there's supposed to be a specific rate of fire, because that's what this is talking about, right? Not just fast, slower. So what is the rate of fire? If they get to establish that, that's going to be an incredible thing for people to have to deal with. And then what level can they take that to next?
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have to understand. And these guys should not be writing law, policy. What's happening here is Congress is bumping it down to these guys, right? They don't want to do something about this. They don't want to put this on the record because they don't want us to start voting them out.
They remember what happened after the 94 assault weapons ban, the midterm elections after that 94 assault weapons ban. The Republicans swept the House. It was huge. And, you know, I mean, if Republicans would have ran somebody worth anything, the next election cycle would have been a different story anyway. I mean, hell, you look back to the first Bush and his Executive Order 89 ban. People don't like to talk about it, but I honestly think part of it wasn't just his no new taxes line. I think it was his 89 ban that cost him a lot of support from the base as well.
Mm-hmm. And if you think that the Supreme Court is going to save us on this one, I'm going to tell you guys something. The Supreme Court is ignoring stuff like this. Yes. So if they're allowed to push this through, if we don't push back now, we're gonna have our back up against the wall. We're gonna have very limited choices here in what to do in America, because the Supreme Court is going to refuse to deal with this.
And don't think this. The big takeaway here is don't think this doesn't matter, right? The NRA, when the NRA is backing this bump stock ban, because that's what they did initially. They're backpedaling where they can, but who is actually not telling you to comment? Who is dead silent on the comment period right now? The NRA.
Yeah, well, they called for this. They called for this.
They called for it. That's why they're quiet about it. But if you look back to the ammo ban, the armor piercing ammo ban, remember that? NRA put out an email blast, and in addition to everyone else, right? So you had Gun Owners America, who was probably the best pro-gun organization out there. Youth for Preservation of Firearms Ownership, NAGR, all the other ones, Second Amendment Foundation. They all put out, everybody together collectively pushed to get comments. There was six figures worth of comments submitted off of that, right? ATF was just like, they couldn't even read through all the comments. They're just like, all right, we're done. We're not going to do it. If we could get that kind of response to the bump stock ban, I think we would see it die.
Yeah.
But, you know, the 800-pound gorilla, the NRA, isn't getting behind it. They're not doing anything. So it's up to us to spread the word and get people to comment. If we get enough comments on this, there's a possibility it could be defeated now rather than even have to worry about it later. Let's stop it now.
Yeah, do not try to deal with this later, because that's going to be a no-go. How much time do we have left on this? Anyone know?
We're two over.
No. I'm not talking about the time for the show. I'm talking about the decision from the time for the show. If you guys need to go, it's all good. But you know, this is an important thing here that we need to get out.
Until June 27th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay,
so got about just a little over 27 hours. A little over 27 hours from now to get your comments in. And even if you only have time to repost the message from Gun Owners America in a comment, that's fine.
Try to make
even if you just want to type, I oppose it, and that's it. Send it. Every single one counts.
Try to make it a little unique, because that counts also. If you find a little nuance to add to it, be polite, be respectful.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be trash, they're just going to cross it off. Because I know when I say we, FreedomWorks had a lot of actions like this in comments. And when they saw like robo comments that were exactly identical, they just kind of crossed them off. They want to see uniquely worded comments.
Yeah. So take it, change it a little bit, you know, and share it out as much as possible. Take the link, as Joe is saying, and share it out as much as possible. Try to push back on this. Let's hopefully get this thing to crash in the last 24 hours of what's going on here. I will try to pull out a snippet from this and get it up in the final hours as well as doing this. But you know, we all should get it up on social media and share it and everything. I'm gonna start wrapping up. Before I get these guys to do what we do when we wrap up here, I did forget to mention this yesterday. This was all over the news. The old man from Pawn Stars, Richard Harrison, has passed away.
Oh no!
You know, he was a gun guy. You know, and I don't know about you guys, but I've watched that show, not just for the guns. You know, we're in Vegas a lot. I've never actually been to the Pawn Stars store, but you know, I've always wanted to do that. And you know, our condolences from my side goes out to the family here. They've lost the old man.
Did they make a statement?
So there's a bunch of different things. This one says Las Vegas, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known affectionately as the old man on long-running reality series Pawn Stars, has died. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop announced Harrison's passing Monday morning with a Facebook post saying he was surrounded by his family over the weekend. The Gold and Silver calls Harrison the brains behind the brawn of the pawn shop. Having moved to Las Vegas after retiring from the Navy and losing in the real estate market, he frequently appeared on Pawn Stars, the History Channel reality series centered on the daily business of gold and silver in Las Vegas, which he co-owned with his son, Rick Harrison. I never met him. As I said, I did meet Rick Harrison, really good guy. And, you know, there's not, to me, there's not a lot of good reality shows, but I thought that was a cool one. They did have guns on there. They shot stuff and did things. They had some old, interesting guns, some stuff that sparked my imagination or my inquisitiveness into those kinds of things. So I thought it was cool.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So, you know, that's pretty much it. Okay. So let's start to wrap this up. Rod, what do you have? What's going on with you, man? What do you want to remind the folks out there about?
Just want to remind the folks, actually be vigilant, support your local gun dealer. Although there are a lot of you know, folks that are giving deals, you know, across the internet. Don't forget your local gun guys, because keep in mind that that actually keeps those dollars locally. As far as me, I got a couple of classes going on this weekend. Doing some private training from some ex-military guys that somehow or another they lost their way with shooting guns since they've been retired. So they came to me and asked me to go ahead and assist them and get them caught back up. And then actually this is that part of the year where I'll be going on my vacation for a good week and a half next month in July. So I'm looking forward to a much needed relaxing vacation in the Caribbean. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And if for people, if they want to do training and stuff like that with you, how do they get in touch with you?
They can hit me up at on Scorched Earth Firearms Training on Facebook. My personal email address, my personal site or page on Facebook is Rod Mills, RODMILLS. For those that don't Spanish, RODMELLS.
All right, very cool. Thanks. Where did Richard go? Richard,
I'm right here.
He goes. All right, Richard. So how can the folks out there get in touch with you, man, and follow your things?
Yep, flyingrich.com, and I'm running a contest where I'm giving away 2 of these routers, and basically it's a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So once I hit 1,000, I'm giving 2 of these routers away.
Very cool.
Flyingrich.com.
Okay, flyingrich.com. That's your YouTube channel?
Well, that's you link to all my social media through there. So my YouTube channel, all that.
Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, and last but not least, there he goes, Joe from 13C. Joe, what do you have going on?
So we've got, this is actually turning out to be an awesome build. I'm going to start actually shooting this weekend. I'm going to get everything done on this, but this is going to be fun. This Spikes Tactical Sandbox build. I mean, a lot of stuff in here from Geisley. The stock here is actually Mission First Tactical. That's their Scorched Earth, Scorched Dark Earth, Battle Link Minimalist stock. That is going to be a great build.
That's the Rod Mills gun.
I actually, dollar-wise, MSRP-wise, in this lower, I've got with all the different Geisley components that are going to be, and the charging handle, just the Geisley components in this, in the lower and the charging handle, are as much as this entire Palmetto State Armory rifle, which is
I believe it. I believe it.
So when this thing was on sale, it was $449 for Father's Day, not the optic. But I mean, God, we live in awesome times where you can get something like this, right? So I just picked this up the other day for my FFL, and basically the short and skinny is, you know, what are you getting for this? So I already put some initial couple mags through it. We're doing some reliability testing. It's obviously, it's not a free floated barrel or anything else, you know, but they make the barrel in-house. All this stuff is basically in-house now. It's like, it's almost all of it's made by them, except obviously the Magpul furniture. But we're gonna run the hell out of this and show you just what kind of rifle you can get for, you know, $500 or under. If you want to do it. And then obviously we're going to be comparing and contrasting a rifle with, by the time everything gets on this is going to be 5-6 times the cost of this. But so we're running the gambit on these 2 rifles that we're doing right now. We also have this brand new Holosun 510 Elite with their green red dot in there, and I don't know if you can.
Oh
nice.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
There it is, right there.
So that's red dot, not holographic.
It's a red dot. It's an LED projection. It's not technically holographic, so you don't have any delaminating issues. Oh, look at that! Nice. There it is. So we're gonna be testing the hell out of this one as well, beating it up and just doing everything we can to it to within reason anyway. So there's a lot of cool stuff. 13c.us is a great place. Just 13c.us, and you can link through to the Facebook, Instagram. We do Instagram Live every Friday night. So 9 o'clock, right when Hank is wrapping up. Head from Lifestyles Locked and Loaded over to our Instagram at 13C Gun Reviews. Check us out. Yes, maybe I will beat it with a water bottle. That's a good idea. You are absolutely right. I'm going to do that right now.
The abuse.
Still works.
Yeah.
Don't bring the water bottle in the house.
Yeah, put hashtag me too on that.
Andy's Thin Mint as well. It's holding up to that. So.
Oh boy. All right. So make sure you follow 13C Gun Reviews on you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff, right, John?
Yeah, everything. And then of course here on YouTube, of course, as well.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I know we're going a little bit over time here. I did want to I was talking yesterday that we're trying to get on different platforms for the audio podcast version of this, and we are on Spotify. Lola was telling me that she saw the approval thing last night while I was on air. So now we're on Spotify. So if you're into that, you can search on Spotify and find us. I'm trying to get everything uploaded to there. So we're on Spotify as well as iTunes and a bunch of other places. That's pretty much it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that sponsors us: Safety Harbor Firearms, ATI Outdoors, Big Daddy Guns, and Andrew's Custom Leather. We're out of here.
Thank you, everybody.
Peace.